chuck that on there. Hello everyone, how are we all doing? I am Cat Chats. I'm doing another interview today with a beautiful, beautiful man. And I'm gonna just bring him in straight away because guess what? He's amazing. But
Me? Yeah, just launched it. I would use my hands. I would give a whole lot of hand signals. I don't know sign language, but I could just sort of, like, try to communicate. Ugh, devastating. Listen,
oh,
technology is absolutely unknowable and ununderstandable.
oh, Becca V is here as well. Love it.
Becca, how did the stream wait, they can't hear me, can they?
Oh no, I think they can hear you now. I'm seeing my little levels moving.
How did the stream go? Who won? Did you win? Did you win the marbles?
All the marbles. All the marbles. Okay,
She's, modding,
Becca can
marbles
hear
for
you now.
money.
So that's a win.
They can hear me. I
Yay!
have important things to say.
Important things to say. Introduce yourself for reals now because we can hear you.
Well, I'll repeat because it'll be fresh. It'll be like I just
Smashing.
said it. I'm Paul. That's my real name, but on Twitch I go by Polygon Gamer. And I live in New York City, so a long, long way away from this cat chats. But I was an actor in musical theater here in New York City for years and years, doing different shows around the country. Most recently, doing Jersey Boys here in New York City. And then the shutdown happened, and we were shut down as our state went amongst the states. We were shut down sort of the earliest because, as you can imagine, New York City is pretty heavily and densely populated.
Just disappointing.
Um, so there's a few of us here, so we took action really early, and then of course got hit really early on. But the shows went down in March. They went dark, and
Oof.
we have been closed since then. And we're fingers crossed going to open in June of 2021.
Oh, I didn't realize
So
it was going to be that light.
yeah. Well, they want to make sure that, like vaccines are out and we have enough of the population covered and protected before we
Fair.
start bringing people into small, because theaters are gross. Like if you think about it,
Just a little
we
bit.
never really thought about it pre-pandemic, but it's just a bunch of people doing that, coughing in a
Yeah.
small space.
And you don't
Like
mean to. Like, sometimes you just have like a little bubble of air.
no, but like we talked about it all. We've talked about it since we closed. A lot of the people in the show and I, about like basically every single night while you're on stage, all you hear is a bunch of like
Yeah.
from the audience. Like, and
And it's
that's just sort of the
dry air.
content.
It's kind of dry air in a theater normally.
It's drier air. People have it's a different temperature than the outside, so their bodies are just sort of regulating and getting used to.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's freezing cold. Sometimes it's too warm. And so like yeah, people's bodies are just sort of reacting to that. But it's just you're in a small space. A lot of these buildings are so old and poorly ventilated, and we're just all spitting on each other.
Yeah.
So they're going to be probably the later thing to reopen in New York
I
City.
mean, how
But
would that
fingers
actually
crossed.
work though? Like when you are singing and everything, like you don't mean to, but sometimes like you spit or you're like breathing on people because you're so close to them. Like imagine
Yeah.
Hamilton. Like they're really close 90% of the time. Actually, even Jersey
Yeah.
Boys. You're underneath the
Yeah.
street lamp for God's sake. It's a start.
Right. Yeah, and the theater we moved to, because when we moved off Broadway, we went to an even more intimate theater where the front row is, you can ask Exox's Techie, the front row is like on the stage.
Oof.
And so there are plenty of moments when we're playing, that lip of the stage, we're right up there talking to the audience and just spitting on them. And we spit on each other.
Yeah.
And we found out right when we closed that like 3 people tested positive and were quarantined, and we were in a small backstage area, so there's no way that like not all of us came into contact with it at some point. But
no.
theater has sort of like tried to adapt to all. It'll be really interesting to see where theater goes and what theater becomes post-pandemic, because I know our union here was discussing like changing all kinds of aspects about shows, making ensembles smaller, changing how often people touch, kisses in shows, stuff like that. Like just trying to implement all kinds of changes to keep
that would
cast
be like
members safe.
Changing a whole actual like storyline to a degree.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I know when I was watching Kinky Boots on stage, I was like, they're all about the touching because, it's all about female, male empowerment, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And, they're all about that. And I'm like, how would that correlate to the new world that we're in?
Sex sells. I mean, like, every one of our storylines is built around an attraction of some sort.
True.
It would be very difficult to create distance. I mean, and I notice it even now when I'm watching like Netflix or something, when there's a scene with a bunch of people or people are close.
Yeah.
My gut reaction is a little like, oh, that's strange, because I'm so used to now, I've gotten it in my mind that like we all are separate and we're not congregating in groups and we're not breathing on each other. So,
but that's all you kind of want to do in that sort of situation, because that's the story, or that's how it's meant to be portrayed, but it's not, because you can't do that now.
I mean, we will have plague dramas, we will have all kinds of pandemic art come out of this, so it'll be interesting to see. And a lot of shows are still filming. They take all kinds of precautions and test people constantly, so
exactly.
We'll see.
So how did you get into beautiful, musical theatre? That's the word I was looking for. I forgot the word musical theatre.
I guess I always did it. I mean, how is the high school experience in Australia? It's pretty ubiquitous that people like have a theater program and put on musicals.
Like, I mean, we have the musical theater in the drama department, but you only have to do it in grade 8. So grade 8 is the start of high school for us, and then it's an optional. So they do it in grade 8 so people can actually like get to know people in their new school. And then after that, it's like you only have to do math and English in grade 8 as well. You don't have to do them for the rest of high school. So same with drama.
That makes sense, because literally we don't use math. Like, unless you like math.
Who uses trigonometry, honestly?
I don't use it. I have forgotten every single thing. I barely know how to divide.
Yeah. I mean, that's what calculators are for.
Right. I don't need to know this anymore.
Yeah.
Similarly, we have like a requirement that you must take a fine art of some sort, where I think that's still a requirement within our public school systems. It was, at least when I was there. Yeah. But I guess like if you were a kid who liked to sing, chances are you were either going to sign yourself up for choir or be a part of the shows or musicals that were happening at your school. And because they were just sort of like in the school system, that's pretty much where it all started. Was that like I liked to sing. I always did sing.
And you're really good at it.
Oh, thank you so much.
He's like, I'm fishing for compliments now,
you know? You for that. I didn't even set you up for that.
You know I love your singing.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And I love to sing on the stream. I have a great time, as that being an aspect of the stream, is that it's very musical. And we have a good time with that. But yeah, I guess like just from a young age being involved in school musicals, and then like that being the only thing I actually cared about in school. I always did well, but you kind of know what you like to spend your time doing as a high schooler. And so like, it was like, well, it's this, it's not these other things. So
I was the nerd. I was in front of a computer. I was programming in high school.
Are you? Is that what you do?
So no, but I used to. But like straight out of high school, I basically just did the programming side of things, and I got a internship for 6 months with Australian Apple before they completely went across overseas, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I had like the old school brick of the iPod that used to happen. But now I'm like more into the hospitality thing because Lord knows I can talk. So I work for a motel, which is really nice, and they give me a beautiful little apartment, which is nice.
I love that. I love that.
And hopefully it's going to get me a visa to go to America eventually, because that's where my partner is. So, but it depends.
In the hospitality industry you're hoping for?
So, hopefully. But, I mean, that's one job, and then my other job is I work for EB Games, which is your GameStop.
Right, you told us about that. Wait, okay, so we used to have an EB Games.
Yeah. So now it's been completely made into New Zealand, Australia, and Canada has a couple of them left. Okay. So GameStop is just a GameStop now in America. And some of those have been, like, closed down as well.
Yeah, GameStop was having a hard time. It's mainly because things have gone so digital. Mm-hmm. Like, video gaming and, you know, and then, like, Amazon is such a competitor for any brick and mortar that, like, if it's going to be a big piece of hardware, it's hard. I love GameStop, though. It so harkens back to, like, those old, like, mall stores or Blockbuster where you could just sit and browse forever and like not commit to anything. Rarely would I go in ready to buy a game, but I just wanted to go look at all the games.
And like I still work there and I still browse. Like half my shift I'm just browsing and actually saying, oh, what's this new game? What's this trade-in that someone brought in? I'm like, I've never heard of this game. So it's really good to like get it. Granted, it helps with cheaper gaming as well. Like some of my games I've got really cheap because of knowing the ways.
Right.
Like Cyberpunk, just for an example. People are excited about Cyberpunk, and they're like, oh, it's $110. I don't want to pay that. That's Australian prices.
It's $110?
It's 110 Australian dollars. You can trade in 2 games, and it comes down to $29. So why would you pay full price?
How much is a normal new release in Australia?
Well, Black Ops was 110. NHL 21 was 90. So yeah, your Crash Bandicoot was not 99.
That is very expensive.
Yeah, which is why like people don't realize that there's trade deals for. This is just EB Games. I don't know about GameStop, but like you can trade in 2 games you literally don't play anymore. And it comes down $80. Cyberpunk is $29.
GameStop doesn't. GameStop is notorious for like having the worst sort of like payback for older games.
Yeah.
So like you could trade in some like new games and get maybe $20 for 4 or 5 new games that you just traded in.
Yeah.
So it's harder here in the States to make that work to your advantage. So good for you.
Yeah.
Work that system.
So, I mean, I'm getting all the good games for cheap prices. So, I mean, it helps with the Twitch streaming because I can play the new games.
Ours are 60. 60 for the new, and I think everything for next gen is now going up to, somebody is going to correct me, but like 70, it could be 80, but I think it's 70. Which makes sense because game prices have like not moved in the past 20 years. They've sort of been standard here in the States at 60.
With time conversion, rate conversion, I guess that's kind of similar because it's about add $20 give or take. Okay. Because the exchange rate still sucks. But, you know, like just for an example, Twitch subs for you guys I think are $4.99. For us it's $8.99 Australian. So if someone from Australia subs to you, they're fucking shelling out almost $10 to you. Yeah.
That's you, Cat Chat.
No, I've never done that. No, I've never done that, Polly, at all.
Pull up the receipts. That's $8.99. That is expensive because I sit there when those Twitch subs roll over and you forget maybe you subbed to a random person.
Yeah.
And like you didn't turn it off for the resub. You're like, oh God, that was $50 worth of subs that just happened.
Yeah, that's kind of my monthly oh shit moment.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
But yeah, so that's just an example of the exchange rate because this is not about me. I'm just going to change this back to you, Mr. Paulie.
I love that. I love me. Are you kidding me? Favorite subject.
Well, it's the best subject, let's be reals. So what was your first ever play, theatre, production that you can remember doing?
Like through childhood till now?
Yeah, let's do childhood till now.
I mean, I definitely recall in preschool we did the 12 Days of Christmas pageant, where we sang the 12 Days of Christmas.
Please tell me there's
so the
footage of that.
I don't. My parents didn't own a video camera at the time. Somebody's parent probably has that, but I don't know them.
But I don't know them.
For each day, you know, the number of the day would be the number of kids that sang the line.
Yeah.
And I was a partridge in a pear tree.
Of course
so I got that little solo at the end every single time it would come up. And I think I would probably, I remember like they would bring the mic down the row, and I really remember just like stretching out, being like, a partridge in a pear. I had a British accent when I was young.
Of course.
So I definitely like recall that being a standout moment, and that was thrilling to have a little solo and be singing. So that was like probably earliest.
It's like your first solo, and then it just continued on.
Oh yeah. You know, and then we did. There was like I recall early productions of like Cinderella. My school. Aww. So we
Cinderella.
I grew up in, we grew up in like a weird country here, because we definitely have like separation of church and state, which is like, you know, we have public schools that operate as state-run things. And when I was a kid, we would put on full-on Christmas pageants with the baby Jesus and angels. But this was public school. So like lines were very blurred back in the day, but also like most of the people in my community in Houston, Texas were of Christian faith and saw no issue with that. They were like, that's fine. There's maybe one Jewish kid in the school. They'll be fine. This can be about Jesus. So that was weird.
One of
that
my
was
best
definitely
mods
weird.
is Jew, so she's actually here. Hi, Rachel. Everyone say hi to Rachel. No, I'm just joking.
Hi, Rachel. Sorry about the Christmas pageants at Pine Shadows Elementary School if you were there. But
no commands at the moment, Rachel, because this is a poorly day, so there's no "Oh Canada" commands, Miss Rachel.
Yes, Canada commands. Is that where Rachel is? Is in Canada?
Yeah. So she has her own command. She has her own little Stitch mode as well. But I've turned them off because they come with like an "Oh Canada" sound. So
you're so good with the sound. I need to figure that out.
Yeah.
The sound cues you have are fantastic.
I'm trying to get better. Like, I'm trying to put them on. I'm pretty good at doing them on stream as well. So if someone brings it out, I'm like, haha, can do that.
I love it.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, those Christmas pageants definitely served as like a big spotlight. I lived for those.
Yeah.
You know, to go sing about Jesus at school because I would get a solo, and I was like, oh yeah, this is it.
You would sing about hot turds if it gave you a solo.
Did you just say hot turds?
I did.
I mean, what are they paying? What's their going rate?
Exactly. If they were paying you enough and you got a solo, you'd be like, done.
Hot turds, if you're in need of a lounge singer at your next hot turd convention, just hit me up.
Exactly. It was the first thing that came to my head, and it was like, yeah, that'll do.
It's a horrible image, but yeah.
It is. But you know what? We're going to move on.
I love that.
So,
we're going to stray away from hot turds.
Yes. You grew up in Texas, by the sounds of it.
I did.
Yeah. How does a Texas boy get to New York City?
On a plane.
Thanks, Polly.
You're welcome.
Dad jokes. Love it. So,
I mean, like,
did you go straight to New York, or did you have a bypass?
No, I went to school. I went to university in Oklahoma, and I studied musical theater. And
did you
many
sing Oklahoma
universities
in Oklahoma?
No, I know. Well, I actually did do Oklahoma in Oklahoma because when I was there, it was the centennial of the state.
Of course.
So they did the centennial production of Oklahoma. But I think my school definitely tries not to do it because they are the University of Oklahoma. So it's a little overdone.
Yeah.
But most universities, most states have a university that has a musical theater major, a BFA in musical theater, and like you can get your degree in musical theater now from a ton of universities. And most of them will recommend spending some time in New York City afterward. Mine was a decently, I would say, mid-level competitive program. It's a good program now. When I was going there, it was pretty mid-level, and but they definitely prided themselves on getting students to New York City afterward and like really getting them immersed in sort of the mecca of musical theater. So that was how I ended up there. I really wasn't very creative in my choice, and there were classmates of mine, and there are contemporaries of mine from other programs who got a little bit more creative in their approaches and went to different cities around the country that have good theater districts or good, like, one of the girls in my class went to Seattle.
Okay. That's
And
very
Seattle's,
artsy.
yeah, and Washington's cool, and Seattle's cool, and Seattle has a smaller theater district, but what it offers in theater is like very noteworthy, and like oftentimes Broadway shows that are coming to Broadway will do out of town productions there before they move to New York.
Yeah.
So like she got in with that theater and has done all kinds of incredible, work there. And
Beautiful.
people went to Chicago and have done some like amazing theater there. So I definitely took like the least creative path I could think of, which was just haul myself off to New York City with a couple $1,000 in my pocket and see what happens.
YOLO. You only live once,
and I've
right?
been here for 10 years.
That's cool. Have you ever thought about going on like cruise ships and working on cruise ships? I know that's a creative thing.
That was my first gig out of
Nice.
college, as I worked for Disney Cruise Lines. So I was on the Disney Wonder.
Love Disney.
Are you just a Disney love?
Yeah, so I've been to every single Disney except for Shanghai and Hong Kong. That was meant to happen this year, and it didn't obviously happen. So
Shanghai looked incredible.
Right? Like my okay. So after high school, we have a thing called schoolies here in Australia, which is basically like your spring break.
Not schoolies.
Schoolies.
Not.
So
are you saying schoolies?
Schoolies, like school E. Yeah. So we call it schoolies, and usually you go to the Gold Coast and you drink.
That's adorable.
So
Oh,
it's basically a week where you go and drink at the Gold Coast. This year it's now in Noosa because of COVID and all that crap. But my schoolies was 3.5 weeks around America with my mother. So we did Disney. We did for a week in LA. Then we went to LA. Then we went to Disney in Orlando and Universal Studios. And then we went to the Bahamas because, we do that shit.
Yeah.
So I saw it on a movie and I was like, I'm going to go to Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas. And that's what I did.
Oh, you went to Nassau.
We did. And then I almost ran over Sean Connery. But that's a whole different kettle of fish. I almost killed the Sean Connery before he passed away. Yeah. So
With what? Like on a Segway? What did you do?
Okay. So long story short, we were there just on the holiday, but there was an international film festival happening at the same time. So we're like, why not? They're looking for volunteers. They only really need us for one day. So we signed up. We're a volunteer at an international film festival. Tick that off the list. But one of the jobs that they had us do as international for some reason was pick people up at the airport. I was driving down the road in a car which drives on the other side of the road. He was crossing
nuts.
Yeah, he was crossing the road and I didn't hit him, but it was damn close. And then he put his hands on my car.
People crossing the road happens in the same direction in the United States.
Yes,
right?
but we drive on the other side, and I was trying to get used to the car and shit like that. Yeah, so
who needs a who's looking out a windshield? There's a stick here. Why would they ever have people from other countries be driving the people around? That's a terrible plan.
Yeah, and it was terrible for me to
kill movies.
Say yes to as well. So that's partly on me. So he was crossing the road and he actually put his hands on the front of my car and was like, "Oh, excuse me," and walked off. And of course, me in shock, I'm not taking a photo of this, so everyone doesn't know if I'm telling the truth or not, but I'm like, I know this is the truth. I almost killed Sean Connery.
If you had thought in that moment to take a photo, Sean Connery would be dead.
Precisely.
There's no time for reaction there.
Exactly.
You would have killed him.
And I don't want to kill Sean Connery at that point of time.
And not at that point. He had so much left to do.
Yeah, not in 2005.
Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah. So, I mean, that's schoolies for us. And I love Disney going back to segue back.
Spring Break. Spring Break is just so on the nose. We should be calling shit schoolies.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Well, I mean, you guys have spring break at the end of every year. We only have it at the end of literally school. So when you graduate high school, you go on schoolies. It's like a celebration. So, yeah.
You don't get a break during school. You don't get a week off.
But we don't call it spring break. We just call it holidays.
Oh, you tried to pull at my heartstrings just now. You tried to weave this sad story of not getting any breaks.
Oh, we get breaks. We get like 3 months off over Christmas time. We're fine.
But they're just not all called schoolies.
No, schoolies at the end.
I guess I can't really wrap my mind around this. This isn't actually a thing. It's just that when school ends, you go take yourself on a trip.
Pretty much. But most teenagers, they've just turned 18 or they're 17 and trying to get away with drinking before the legal age, which is 18. So they go on a holiday to wherever it is, and they just drink and party. And then they have the school chaplains, because they're all about, which are called the Red Frog Company or something like that. And they actually look after the people who are drunk. So they put them back in their hotel or whatever, because they've all got necklaces like that hang around their neck saying which hotel they're in, what room they're in, and blah, 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 in case they get too drunk.
Oh, so it is a very official thing.
Yeah.
It's like an official thing.
Yeah. But the drinking happens, and that doesn't happen willy-nilly. They just drink.
But your mother and you, like, didn't do the traditional schoolies thing.
No, because I'm not a big drinker. Like, 2 drinks and I'm, like, tipsy. So I'm like, screw that. We're going on holidays.
Same. Hate drinking. Hate it so much.
But yeah, my mum and my grandmother have a timeshare in Vegas. So I've always loved America. So whenever I can go to Vegas, I can. And it overlooks the Bellagio, so it's a horrible life. It's a horrible life.
I did Jersey Boys in Vegas. So I was at the Paris Theater, and I lived right off the Strip there for a little over a year.
Well, Paris Theater is literally across the road from my apartment, my timeshare.
What?
So the Cosmopolitan is built on our land. So there's a tiny little building in between the Cosmopolitan called the Jockey Club. That's
okay. Yes, I remember the Jockey Club. Yeah. I remember the little guys out front, right? The little jockeys around out front. Yeah.
So that's where our apartment is.
Ah, so, that's so cool.
Yeah, we pay like $600 US a year for that apartment.
That's
Great
so fun.
But yeah, I love Vegas. I've gone back, every 2 years except for this year. So
yeah, Vegas is so fun, and it will also be tremendously changed by this. But I loved my time there.
How long were you doing Jersey Boys for?
Huh?
How long were you doing Jersey Boys in Vegas for?
Vegas just a little over a year, but that's where I started. So it was from 2015, and then I moved to New York.
Nice.
So,
were you a swing then as well, or doing a specific position?
I was doing a different part. Was that what you asked?
Yes, I did, but I said position instead of part because I'm an idiot.
No, I was doing a different part at the time. I was doing a role called Joey, and that's Joe Pesci, if you know the actor Joe Pesci.
Yes.
He's a character in the show. He plays a young kid that they grew up with. And then I did that and then covered Frankie out there. And then when I came to New York, the position that was opening up was a swing.
Yeah.
And so a swing, for anybody who doesn't quite understand, they are not scheduled in the show each night, but they cover a certain amount of roles in the show. So they are hired to know any number of roles that are going on, and like at any point they can fill in for any of the roles and pop in should somebody be sick, should somebody be playing something else that night, kind of thing. So I covered Joey and Frankie here in the New York company, as well as a role called Bob.
Nice. Crew. Well, I mean, that's pretty cool that you get to basically change it up. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure playing one character is fantastic, but if you get to change it up, you get to like experience more,
I agree.
Style.
I agree. After having done it in Vegas, I really enjoyed it, and I really liked Joey. But being able to do different things, and then also having the option to like maybe not have to do anything that night, but show up to the theater was amazing. So like a lot of my nights were me. I brought a monitor, one of the monitors that I use now to stream.
Yes.
I bought a monitor and put it at my dressing room station, and I would just connect my Switch to it and
just chill,
play games during the show. Yeah,
it's a hard life, but someone's got to do it,
Whenever it was time to leave, I just packed up. Yeah, and sometimes my stage manager would come back and say like, somebody's feeling sick. We're gonna put you in Act 2, and you go, okay. And you throw on your costume and you go out there.
How would that work though? Because like, I mean, you obviously look different than other people that you've just taken the position from.
Yeah, I mean, like, yes, they make an announcement. They have to they have to let the audience know if somebody's being switched out. But like, it happens quite often. People get switched in and out. People get injured, or like they think they could make it through it and then they can't, or suddenly the food poisoning kicks in. All numbers of things happen.
That is true.
So,
I mean, it's very smart to have you there just in case, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, some shows don't have the swings there. Some shows just have them sign in, and they're supposed to stay in the area, but like, they're not keeping an eye on them.
That's weird.
Which is wild.
That is wild.
Yeah.
'Cause
Like, what are you
what are you going to do?
if something goes down?
Exactly.
You're not set up for success there.
I would like to have a backup just in case, because you do not know what's going to happen. Like, you could just land wrongly on a jump and just be like, oh, there goes my ankle.
Yeah, and you limp off stage, and then they're like, okay, we need so-and-so here, and they're like, great, I'm 15 minutes away. That is a long time.
Yeah, let me just hold up the show for 15 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
No one needs that.
We had to hold the show one time for like 30 minutes. It was my fault.
Ooh,
but I was already covering that day because we were low on coverage. And I got to the theater and I was sick. I definitely was sick. And I probably shouldn't have been there, but we didn't have the coverage. We were out. Like, everybody was out. And I got there and I had like a low fever and I was all gross and sick. And they were like, okay, the air conditioner is broken. So it's like 90 degrees on stage at the moment. And that was without the stage lights.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think I can do this show. Like, with how I'm feeling, with it being that hot. And like, they told us this about 15 minutes before curtain. So like, we were already there. It was 15 minutes before the show. There was no air conditioning. And so I had to be like, guys, for my safety, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Right. And because if I did, I would then probably call out middle of the show. And if I did that, there's no hope. You know, at least at 15 minutes before, they can make a plan and figure out what they're going to do. So they held the show for like 40 minutes. And some guy from the cast who had covered the role years and years ago decided he would relearn it real quick. So in those 40 minutes, he relearned the role and went out there and did it. And like, they split his role into two. It was wild. It was completely nonsense, but that show happened.
Well, there you go. It happens. It's live theater. You really cannot plan for live theater.
Right. Well, and that's the other humbling thing about live theater and being a swing is that like, the show happens. With or without you. If you're sick, the show doesn't go down in flames.
It's not, in fact, Paulie's not here. We're just not going to do it.
Audience has no idea.
Yeah.
Right. The audience doesn't know. Unless you're like, you know, if you're Bette Midler in Hello, Dolly, they don't know you're not there.
No.
They just see a great show and they're like, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a humbling thing to be a part of that system that's like, it's no big deal if you're out.
Yeah.
You're out. Stay home. Show goes on. It's wonderful.
And I guess that's why it's so cutthroat. Like, I've not been in a musical theater audition. That's the word I'm looking for. Wow, I'm great with words today. But I've not been in that. But I know...
I love the way they slowly come out of your mouth.
Thanks. Thank you. But anywho, you know, I've seen YouTube clips, as most people have, about how cutthroat, and movies even, like Center Stage, you know, how cutthroat auditions are, whether you're a dancer, actor, whatever, singer. It is cutthroat. If they don't want you, you're out, and you're like, okay, peace. And you got to be have a hard skin.
Right. And on top of that, I mean, just like so many people who work their way up in theater and want to pursue theater as a career, oftentimes did it throughout school, like I was talking about, or you know, went to a smaller program at a university, kind of thing like that, and are accustomed to being the best person at what they were doing in that environment. Like, you know, some kid in Ohio went to high school and was the big old star, and the community adored them and loved everything they did on stage. And then they went to a small school and they were the big old star at that university. And then they're like, you know what? I'm going to go to New York City. And New York City is hundreds of thousands of the big old star from wherever they were all coming together. And so like literally hundreds of thousands of people can do exactly what you do.
Exactly.
And you just have to make it your own and make it special. But you have to realize, like, there are better singers than you and better actors than you in every audition room. There will always be.
You've got to have a real tough skin in New York City.
Yeah.
If you want to be in any type of entertainment.
I do not have a tough skin. Oh, I am such a sensitive little bird at
You're
those
a little
things.
softy.
Yeah.
But in a good type. Like, you actually have a heart of gold. And that's what I've realized. Like, I haven't been part of your community for long, but I have noticed that you look after your community so well, you know. And every time I come in there, it's like, oh my God, it's Cat Chats, or whoever is coming in. You know, you can actually feel that you're not a streamer that just gives no shits. You actually do care about your community. and I know that there's some people that just care about the money more so than the community.
Yeah.
But I can feel like there is an actual love there. And people want to play games with you because you're amazing. Yeah, I'll take that back. You're okay.
And streaming is, I have found myself in sort of this position of having, like 20 to 30 viewers kind of thing. And when you have that, you really can remember everybody who pops in. You can create a relationship with each person. And I really like that aspect of the community. I do watch some of these streamers who have hundreds or thousands of viewers, and they can't. They know a couple people, but they can't know everybody. There's too many names. The chat is scrolling by so quickly.
I know.
You don't get to form that relationship. And I love that relationship with people. I love having people come back and play games and hang out and the silliness of it all. And
it is nice. And how did you actually start streaming? Like, there's Becca V putting all your hype emotes in there. Yeah, I love Becca V.
Oh, Becca V.
I love Becca V. Like, how did you start the Twitch streaming? Was it literally just trying to figure out what to do with your life when you were in quarantine, or?
A little bit, yeah. Like it was a little bit of. I've never really been a go-getter. I've never really been the person who's like, I'm going to, take lemons and make lemonade. I go with the flow, and like I don't create opportunity for myself. But in that moment of everything shut down, there's no theater, there's no nothing. I did sort of just take a step back and say, like, what am I doing with my time? Like, what am I spending most of my time doing? And the answer was, I've always loved video games. I've always played video games, and I was playing a shit ton of games in the lockdown just because, like, that's what everybody was doing.
Exactly.
But I was
Hi,
like,
Grace, by the way.
Is there a way to? It wasn't even so much monetized, because like the pragmatist and sort of the like practical person in me like understood with very quick research that like monetizing Twitch to any sort of like income degree is A, rare, and B, like takes time. So like, it wasn't like I'm gonna just turn this into a business. I was just sort of like, this is something I'm already doing. Yeah. And with a few additions, I can easily create a space to do it and do it with other people. Yeah. And meet new people who play video games and all kinds of things. So like, I think it was mostly quarantine that sparked this interest in what streaming was and what a community on a stream was like. And then I got all my little pieces together and I did this first little Animal Crossing stream, and I had like
love Animal Crossing.
25 friends show up who like don't know, Twitch at all, and were very nice to come by and say hi and watch and talk. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is really fun. Yeah. And then the next stream I did, I think I had one person come by for that stream. And I was like, oh, this is hard. Like, this is really difficult. And it takes a lot of, like, consistency and work and luck. So much luck, whether, like, people randomly pop by the station or whether Twitch decides to pick a nice-looking thumbnail for your video. Because there's so many times when the thumbnail somebody picks is like a decent-sized picture of the person. Maybe they're just chatting or something. I'm like, oh, this person is attractive or looks interesting, yada, yada. And then you see these thumbnails where, like, it's somebody's, like, side of the face as they're reaching down kind of thing.
True.
And it's just...
It's usually mine. It's usually mine, like halfway through a movement.
Up in the air, putting a stocking on. Yeah.
But, like, I've never been one of those people that, like, has their boobs out. Because I know there's a lot of women that, like, have their makeup done and they're very affluent in the chest region. That's putting it nicely. But, like, I'm one of those people that I would rather be comfortable in my own skin before making myself looking comfortable for you. So, if you want to come to this face, cool. She doesn't wear makeup. I don't give a shit.
Wow.
Not that way.
You heard it here first. You guys. You put it out there.
Rachel, do not quote that. Rachel, do not quote that.
But on top of that, you've also created, because a lot of people who do make it about that, that becomes the product that they sell. So that means they have to recreate that however many times a week they're doing it. And if that is not a part of you, if that's a put on part of you, that's exhausting.
And it's a character. I'm a character in myself. But
yes, of course. Well, that's the thing. You know that you're fun, you're funny, you're silly, you're self-deprecating, and you know, like that's your shtick.
Yeah.
And so you do you, and you bring you to it, and that way you don't ever have to like remember to put on something or get ready for stream. You can just bring yourself to stream and enjoy the community you've got.
Exactly. And that's the main thing I love about you as well, because you're just yourself. You know, you can have your shirt out and a little bit of hair showing, but that's who you are. You would go down the street looking like that, I think.
Yeah, I do. I often do.
Probably shouldn't assume that, but it's like, you're just you, and I can tell that you're not a character. You're legit you when you get scared and you scream like a little girl.
Okay, but those games are terrifying, so
that's fair. I scream like a little girl a lot of the times, especially like Dead by Daylight. When it's
I was gonna say, do you play scarier games than Dead by Daylight, or is it mainly just Dead by Daylight?
That's it. But I had Streamloots on for the 31st of October, and it was all the scare alerts, and people fucking did the scare alerts, and that was not fun.
I feel so bad because Streamloots is so fun for me in that mess with the gameplay aspect of it, but I play on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So the sound for the game comes through a separate headphone than the sound from the computer. So if somebody plays a sound alert for a Streamloots, it does confuse me, but it's different than the game. So I know it's not happening in the game. Like the heartbeat isn't coming through my headphones when it happens on the Streamloots. So I know that's not the killer. I know something's just going off. And it freaks me out.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would be even that there's a different layer for those people who play through the PC, and all of that sound is coming through at the same time. That's you.
Yeah.
And you hear like the nurses call while you're running, and you're like,
it's like, what the hell? Where is this killer?
Yeah.
Oh,
have you seen the new
Techie
killer?
says, in the time that he's known you, he's walked around with his shirt open and tiny shorts. I can see that. Yep.
Yeah, I love
very
tiny
much you.
shorts. Oh, summertime tiny shorts.
I mean, it's like 83 degrees Fahrenheit here right now, and it's freaking killing me.
Oh, yeah, you guys are going into summer, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going into like 50-degree weather. It's stupid. Ooh,
yeah.
But
yeah, it's just gonna be blazingly hot. So do you get snow? I don't know if you get snow.
So we get snow in like 3 different locations in Australia, but it's cheaper to go to New Zealand for ski resorts. Yeah, it's 85 degrees right now. Ugh. I had to Google the translation for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get it in like Mount Buller, Falls Creek, and Jindabyne. Stupid names, but that's the ski resorts.
No, I like that last one. It's very like Norse mythology.
Right? But Jindabyne, we call it Jindy because we shorten everything. Jindabyne. We shorten everything. Like, we don't mean to, but we do. Like, service station or gas station, we call it a servo. Ciggies, cigarettes. Chucky
Wait,
Yui.
what was that? A Cinnabo? What was the...
So we call it a service station or gas station. We call it a servo. Cigarettes.
Oh, servo.
Yeah, we call ciggies. Sandals we call thongs.
Oh. I mean, who has time? Who has time for words?
Right.
You also call things schoolies. I love that. I'm never going to get over schoolies.
Well, school leavers, but we just go schoolies because we're lazy shits.
Australians do not have the time.
No, we have too much time to like relax and sit by the beach and drink. Not me.
You've got some beautiful beaches, though.
I mean, literally outside my door is a beach.
Gorgeous. That beach you showed me a picture of was just beautiful.
Yeah, one day when you're not on stream, I'll get you on a video call and be like, I'm going to take you to the beach.
Oh, because it's right there for you.
Right. So I'll walk across and be like...
Not far, but they're a bitch to get to, and of course it's now winter here.
Would it be Jersey beaches? I don't know. Is that the closest beach?
No, there's some on Long Island, and like just sort of out there. Yeah, you don't want to swim in the Hudson, but like there are Jersey beaches, but the easier ones I don't actually know which is easier if you want to go to a Jersey beach or to go out to Long Island, because some of the like Jones Beach and stuff like that, it's a trek. It's
and
like
I mean,
an hour and a half.
Connecticut, where it has like all the rich people. I don't know. I think it's Connecticut.
There are definitely some rich people in Connecticut.
Yeah, they've got some nice beaches up there. From what I know, I didn't go.
Has nice beaches.
Yeah.
And then there's the Hamptons.
That's the one that I was thinking of, the Hamptons. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are definitely wealthy human beings.
I mean,
So like, I love my spot in the Hamptons.
that would be beautiful to go one day, but I got to meet you in
Well,
real person, then we'll go up on a holiday.
yeah, I'm gonna have to start finding that daddy if I'm ever gonna want something in the Hamptons. There's no way my
No.
lifestyle is about to like afford me some Hampton spot.
Well, would it be cheaper to Airbnb it, or would that still be like through the roof pricing?
I don't know what it's like out there Airbnb wise because so many of the Hamptons houses are like family houses that they just have because they're so wealthy. So it's
Yeah.
not like they're not really Airbnbing it out
Gotcha.
to make money off it. It just sort of sits uninhabited when they're not
Until
using
they're
it.
ready to go up there for the weekend and be like,
Right.
oh, we'll
Or
just sit
right,
in
they
the
just need a
Hamptons.
minute away or
Yeah.
you know.
Interesting.
So
I mean,
that's my understanding of the Hamptons.
here in the Gold Coast, it's all the rich people. So I guess that's where I was thinking, like, they rent them out because they want to become more rich.
They're just making money wherever they can. All the time.
Exactly. Granted, like, our wages here are a lot better than you guys. Like, a retail job here for a 16-year-old is, like, starting at $19 an hour. Whereas you guys are starting at $6 maybe an hour.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's higher now, but still, like, not 19.
Yeah, so that's retail. Like, a walk-in 16-year-old retail. But if they work on a Saturday, it's time and a half. So they're at, like, $26 an hour. Sunday, it's double time and a half.
That's so great. You can actually afford to live there.
Right? But working on Christmas Day is even better because it's triple time. So if you're at $19 an hour, times that by 3. If you're working on Christmas Day, you will give up your family for that shit.
Yes.
You're like, I'll see
You're
you
like,
Boxing
cute,
Day.
cute. I'll do stockings in the morning and then I'll do cocoa tonight, but like right now, I gotta go make money.
Yeah, gotta go make $60 an hour. See ya.
But Christmas is in December.
Yeah. Yes, Paulie.
It's not a winter. It's not a winter holiday. Well, mine is. To me, it's so synonymous with winter. I can't imagine. Like, it's a made-up date. Like,
Yes.
we can all acknowledge that we just sort of picked a pagan holiday from way back in the day
Exactly.
to put a holiday on. So, like, you really could celebrate it
Any day.
in June.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be June 25th in Australia. And it'd be
Exactly.
cold.
But yeah, so we usually, like, for us anyway, in my family, we get fish and chips, we sit up by the beach, we drink wine, and then we go home. That's our Christmas.
How fun!
But then again, like,
Oh, that's-
we have barramundi, and you guys don't understand what barramundi is. It is the best fish ever.
It's a fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had barramundi.
Okay, well, that makes one of you. My partner, I said barramundi fish, and he's like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, here's a photo. It's a big, ugly fish, but it tastes amazing.
Yeah. It's whitefish. It's good.
It's so
It's
good.
good.
And the Australian barramundi, mwah, so good.
Yeah.
And, like, you can fish off the pier, which is right behind me as well, which is, like, super long. And
Fish?
I don't, but people can.
Okay.
No.
You can't eat dinner? I'm learning so many things about cat chat.
I mean, I could, but I don't think I'm very talented in the fishing sense. If I could talk them onto my line, then maybe, but maybe not.
Also, it's so... Have you ever done it? Because it's so boring.
Boring.
Yeah.
I've done it once, and I think it lasted like half an hour out there. I'm like, what else are we meant to do? Sitting here waiting
I
for
know.
this?
And, like, people go to fish for, like, 8 hours.
Don't know how.
And that's fun. And I'm like, no, this is awful.
We're sitting there doing absolutely nothing for 8 hours or whatever. I'm like, cool, we've caught this tiny little fish, which doesn't even matter.
I think it's an escape thing, right?
Rachel
like
added the quote. Fuck you, Rachel.
Oh, they come to my face.
Not the word that I meant. Not the sentence that I meant.
Well, it happened. And I feel like that happens often for you. Is this sort of...
Yeah, my quotes are
Standard.
definitely more sexual than they're meant to be. Yeah, I don't mean it, but it happens. My mind is in the
Listen.
gutter.
That's the content people crave. Is
That's
that
why we're an
unintentional
18+
sexual
stream.
content.
Because I swear. And I say shit like that.
Shit like that and shit like this.
Exactly. But we're going to have a quick little break. Well, I am, because you're about to sing. If you're up for it.
Yeah.
So,
Are you picking the song?
You get to pick the song because you get to sing what you love. So, do you know a song that, like, off by heart, that you can sing a cappella, or with music, if you can find it on YouTube quickly, that you want to sing?
Do I know a song by heart? My chat can probably tell you that no, I don't know any songs.
Fair point. Well, is there a song
But,
that you really like to sing, good or
well,
bad, that you want to...
I always I always sing "Smile" because I actually know the words to
Oh,
that one.
right.
I can sing "Smile."
Well, sounds amazing. So we're going to quickly transition to this.
I'm on stage! Oh, what a big deal. Mm. Yes. Oh, please, on my days off a stream, I nap, but it's still pretty cool. I still do a pretty good job. Oh my god. Yeah.
All right.
Did they hear
Uh,
that?
I think we're back. Thank you, Techie. I muted myself in transition, so I appreciate that, peeps. No one needed to hear me just say that, but... All right.
Exhausted Techie here.
Yeah.
Exhausted Techie, you're about to hear the same song I sing every single time. So
Well, you
you're
know what?
welcome.
Techie can suck it up. You know, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because these people haven't heard you sing. So the stage is yours, literally. You have the full stage.
Thank you. Thank you. Here's my stage. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by if you smile through your pain and sorrow. Smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through. For you light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness, although a tear may be ever so near. That's the time you must keep on trying. Smile. What's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. That's it.
Yay! See, we've got some
Uh-huh.
new fans of yours. Paulie
Oh,
can sing.
yay!
Paul's a treat, even though he's heard it 1,000 times. Yes. Yes, he
Oh,
is.
thank you so much.
Now take your
Exhausted
bow and then I'll
Techie.
change you back to the beautiful... You know, you got to take a bow now. You're on the stage. You're on the main
Okay,
stage. Yes.
I'm in a chair, but hopefully
Small
that
detail.
that worked.
There we go. We're back. And hopefully I didn't mute
love it.
myself. No, I didn't. Smashing.
Okay.
Whew. Translated well. Whew. Okay, this is hard being a Twitch streamer, man.
You're constantly on. There's lights on you. You get sweaty.
Oh, I know, right?
People get to see every one of your mistakes.
Oh, and there's a lot of those. Let's be real.
That's what was so shocking for me is that like it really is warts and all because
Yeah.
you're live and like
Exactly.
things just go wrong and things shut down or mics don't work and all kinds of stuff.
But it's handy having nice people to tell you, hey, you're muted. I've been through like 15
Yeah.
minutes of a stream and no one was there because like I don't mind talking to
Oh.
myself. Or if I've only got one person, they may not be there that whole time. But I'm not realizing that I'm muted because to me it looks fabulous.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. You're like, this is going so well. I'm talking so much. I'm being so funny. And then
Exactly.
It's like,
I'm like trying to bring people
one
in.
of my
But yeah.
yeah.
I've
like,
done it
nothing being
before.
said.
Like
And one of
I
my
think-
early streams.
Yeah. Sorry, go.
One of my early streams, I remember that I had, you know, no viewers to 1 or 2 viewers for a game I was playing, and I was chatting about what was being said in the game and reacting to the game and whatnot. And then I got to the end of my stream and I closed it, and I was like, it's fine. Like I didn't have any interaction, but
Yeah.
glad I did it. Yada yada. And there was no game sound the entire time. It was just me sitting silently for 4 hours, which it's but I didn't have anybody
Yeah.
to just say like, oh, I can't hear the game.
Yeah.
And you just need those people who are looking out for you, who are just like, that is not on.
Exactly. And like
I played a
sometimes
whole
they feel
round of
bad.
Beat Saber without changing.
Yeah, so sometimes
Yeah.
I feel bad, but you kind of need those people to tell you. Otherwise, you're going to do 4 hours of streaming
Yeah.
with no sound.
That's what I say. I always say, like, keep me humble and just like tell me what's wrong, because there's no use in you guys sitting there not hearing the game or not even seeing the game in some instances, and just not saying anything. Like, just tell me you can't see
It's
it.
like,
Here,
do you
we'll
want to
fix it.
stay here and listen to nothing? No, you don't. You've got better things to do.
Let's get something entertaining going on.
Exactly. And I mean, I nervously sing from last week when we were trying to get this started.
So many
When I'm
make-believe
trying to
songs.
figure shit out, I just sing, and I don't mean to. It just happens. It's always been a thing. I can't sing for shit, but I enjoy singing. Like,
I've listened to your Twitch sings.
yeah, your ears must have bled after that. But like,
Okay, I had some bandages.
yeah, it's fantastic. But you see, I love singing, and that's the issue.
Yeah.
It's like, it makes me happy when I can sing songs from my childhood and be like, yes. I really, in the sense of things, I don't care what people say about my singing. I enjoy it, but I still feel bad that I'm like putting people through it. But you know what? I don't care. For my year anniversary this month now, because we're in December, I have 2.5 hours of Twitch singing. So I'm like, I don't give a shit.
It's going to be a year of you streaming?
Yes, 27th of December.
That.
So I started really quickly after Christmas. I was bored, apparently.
You were just like, I'm in it.
Yeah.
You're one of those people who got into it pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic, yeah. So, and that was when I was doing a schedule at work, and now it's like pandemic is fucking with all of that. But
Right.
I'm just streaming when I can, because I want to stream as much as I can, but I can't commit almost to doing a set schedule, because my boss may be like, hey, I need you to work today. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I'd rather the money than streaming. That sounds horrible, but it's my job.
No, I mean, like, everybody knows that. Everybody's got bills to pay, so they're like, obviously you can't give that up and like come play games. But
there was a Beat Saber moment. Did you play Beat Saber on stream?
Yeah, I sure did.
Please tell me about this Beat Saber moment, because I was not there.
Wait, Exhausted Techie just brought it up?
Becca V.
Becca V, okay, so...
But Techie's talking to Becca V about it as well.
Beat Saber was a disaster. It was a wonderful disaster. We had a blast. And we did it for like 3 hours. I was a sweaty mess, but there was one point, I was doing this thing where I like loaded the songs into a spin wheel on a website, and then I would like switch between scenes on Streamlabs to go to the spin wheel to spin it to see what the next song would be, and then I would switch back to the game and we'd do it. And one time I went to the scene on Streamlabs, spun the wheel, picked the song, did not put it back on the game, went and stood and put my helmet on and did an entire Beat Saber routine while the screen wasn't up. It was just a website that everyone was looking at. And so like and when you remove Beat Saber from the Beat Saber moves, it is shockingly embarrassing. It's bad when the Beat Saber blocks are there and you're slicing through them, but at least it's impressive that you're able to like cut the blocks.
Yeah.
If they can't see anything, you're just sort of like
being a weirdo.
All little. Oh, it's so tragic.
Well, I mean, Becca V says it's beautiful. You're beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. It was a true moment. Like it felt like something to have been present for and to have been around for, because it was just so absurd. And
that's kind of how I feel about doing Just Dance. Like, I only do it once a month now. I've only done it twice, but I have to delete the VOD afterwards because of music. DMCA or whatever the acronym is. But I enjoy it. Like, I have fun doing it because, again, it's the dance factor. And I danced when I was a younger girl. I lost all that rhythm, but I still have fun. It's like singing and dancing. I have fun with that crap. I will never make it to Broadway. Well, technically I made it to Broadway because my hotel was on Broadway, when I was there. But I didn't do Broadway.
Big old star. I mean, you paid them to be there, but still.
Exactly. And where my hotel was located last year, because we were talking briefly beforehand, like, it was across the road from Hamilton, where Hamilton was being played.
Oh, okay.
So I was right in the middle of Times Square, and I paid way too much.
5th Street?
Yeah. So I was at the Empire Empire Hotel. Like, really old school hotel, and I was like, I like this. But it was only 3 days, and I'm like, I can't afford any more. But
and if you're only there for a short period of time, you don't want to spend so much of your time traveling back and forth from wherever, you know,
No.
boonies your hotel was in. It's best to just stay in the heart of it, be in Midtown.
And I met someone that I met through YouTube, so that was kind of cool. So
wow.
Yeah, so okay, a couple of years ago, this guy and his family got on Ellen for pranking their sister after tooth surgery. So when they're out of tooth surgery, they were like, yeah, all out of it. Let's be reals. And they were like, it's a zombie apocalypse. You know, who are you going to save? Are you going to save the cat or the dog? I'm going to save the cat because the dog's old. Anyway, it's a 3.5 minute video, but it's amazing. And there was one brother that wasn't in the video, which is the guy I met. But he was on Ellen. They were all on Ellen, so that's my little claim to fame. But yeah. So I met him and he showed me around New York for a couple hours and got to see New York from a New Yorker's point of view. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that is cute. And very like new age. Like that is just sort of like a millennial story, right? Like you met somebody from a viral video who then showed you around New York. Like that's just of our moment and era.
Well, I mean, also I met my partner on Twitch, who I've never actually met in person. So, but we talk every day. You
still haven't met them in person?
No, he lives in Alberta. Wow, apparently Rachel's got Canada in my head. He lives in Alabama. English. So he's American, and I still haven't met him because we met in January this year and COVID hit in like March. We were meant to meet at TwitchCon. That didn't happen.
Whoa.
So, yeah. But his father-in-law works for GameStop, so he's trying to get me a transfer. So, but visas, yo.
Yeah. And right now
is
like, I'm sure that's all just sort of taken a back burner to sort of like pandemic control. And
it's going to take like 9 to 12 months. And I'm like, you can try for the transfer. That's probably not going to happen for another year. So good luck to you.
But he streams video games as well, or does he do a different type of streaming?
So he's an artist, so he does graphic design sometimes, but he's mainly on like indie games and things like that. So.
Oh my god, so cool.
Yeah. But I am a cougar. So I went for the younger.
Oh, he's a young man.
He's a young man. He's 22.
He's a baby.
He's a baby. But he's a very old soul. So, I mean, I don't care how old he is as long as I fell in love with the person. So.
That's adorable.
But
that is wild that like you got to meet through Twitch and then just
people meet through Tinder. It's not much different.
I guess so. I guess that's true.
But hi, Em. How you doing? Perfect way to end your night with two random people talking.
Hi.
This is Paulie. Yeah. This is it is wholesome. I love him. Wow.
Wholesome?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wholesome
My
about
stream
me.
is rarely ever called wholesome.
Yeah. He's 1 year older than Rachel. Yeah. Rachel's my mom.
Am?
No, Rachel.
Oh. Rachel, you're a babe too.
Yeah, she's a baby. She's tiny too. Sorry, Rachel, I'm just outing you. She's like 4'9".
Small babe. 4'9". Exhausted Techie. If Exhausted Techie's still here, that's gonna make them feel so tall.
Well, Techie's still here.
Techie.
I got all your people here. It's not all, but a couple of your awesome people.
I love my awesome
How
people.
old am I, Grace or Paulie? I'm 33. I'm happy to out at my age. I'm 33.
I'm 33 as well.
High five.
Boom! Those 87 babies.
Yeah. 4'9" and 20. 4'1" and 4'9" and 21 years.
Oh, you tiny young human.
But yeah, both of you. Well, we're both 33, so there you go. Old people unite. Well, we're not old.
Being old.
But in Twitch world, we're old. Because there's so many like people that are either started from the start of Twitch, like Justin TV sort of Twitch, and continue to be big, or, you know, they're very young people.
Just young kids hopping on. Yeah. Just like 21 years. There are a lot of like 21, 22, 23-year-old streamers.
Yeah. But they're still most likely living at home, or they've been laid off for their job, so they have all the time in the world. Whereas we're like, we have bills. We got to kind of pay the bills somehow.
And you know, I love that, and it'll be interesting when I go back to the show, trying to figure out my schedule for streaming, because I would love to keep this as a part of my life.
Yeah,
I'll probably have to stream fewer times a week, just because like, or I'll probably become like a daytime streamer because I work until 9:30 or 10:30 at night here, and then have to travel home. So many times I'm not home till late.
Yeah.
But I kind of like that idea, and I respect that with people who can hold down like full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And then participate on Twitch and like have a spot for their community to come hang out in, and genuinely love meeting up with the community and chatting after work and stuff like that. Like I look forward to that.
And I think that's why I've started doing, like, a couple of months ago, the community nights, where it's not like your community games where you're playing with people. Like, I try and do them in stream, but where I have a movie night. Like, whole of October, I did movie nights on Saturdays, which were all Halloween movies. So granted, sometimes it's only me, Coy, and Rachel that are there, but I don't care. If people want to come in and watch a movie, cool. Come in with your popcorn. So
that's what we did the same thing on Discord, where we were like, let's do a movie night for this, on the Discord. And of course there was a lot of like interest on the channel and people were chatting, but when it came down to it, I think it was like 3 of us watching the movie, and that's great. 3 people hanging out, getting to watch a movie together, and
it's like being in the same room with someone, but obviously not because of COVID. So
right.
But I love that factor, and I've got that a movie chatter list, so we can talk in that movie chatter and still watch the movie and not have our physical voices come over and ruin the movie.
And cut out. Yeah, exactly.
Can COVID go away so Becca can go meet Techie? Yes. We need a Becca and Techie meeting, for sure.
Yes. Wait, have you two never met in person?
No, apparently not. Do you know Techie in real life? Because they're from New York, by the looks of it.
Yes. So Techie was do you feel fine and comfortable being called a super fan, Techie? Techie was a super fan of Jersey Boys, and I think just a super fan of Broadway shows in general, like a big supporter and fan of the shows. So Techie was often at Jersey Boys. A lot of cast members from previous productions of Jersey Boys knew Techie from experiences with them at the show, and had hung out with them outside of the show. So like in life, in person, I'm a little less outgoing.
Okay.
I am still very talkative, but I don't really present myself to people that I don't really know.
Okay.
So I was always pretty quiet and didn't actually meet Techie in real life. I knew who they were, and I think we had said hello and stuff, but it was never like, we had never really like sat down and chatted. But now I know them well, and when the show opens, I'm looking forward to them being there in Midtown and meeting up with them. And
like, I think I've touched on this, but Jersey Boys and Kinky Boots are my favorite musicals, closely followed by Rent. Those 3 are my top. But like on my Spotify, they are the most 3 played list that I have. And I don't know like the French version very well, but say soirée la at the start, I'm like trying to sing it in the French version all the time, and I'm like listening through to like the actual people saying their lines, and I'm like saying it with them. So I guess you would call me a super fan of Jersey Boys as well. Yeah.
I mean, I think like what people start to refer, anybody who's seen a show more than like 3 times is usually like a super fan of the show.
Well, then I'm sorry.
So
I'm
almost
a super
certainly
fan.
super fan.
But I've obviously
if
only
you know
seen
the
it
words
in Australia.
To say soirée la, you're definitely a super fan of Jersey Boys.
Yeah, I've seen it in Australia 4 times, and it's coming back. I think next year sometime.
Are they going to reopen out there?
I believe so, because like Australia is open to Australians now. So we can go to the theaters, we can go to cinemas. We don't have to, like, we have to social distance, obviously, in cinemas. But we can actually go to the pub, and we can stand up and drink with our friends.
That is so wild.
Yeah.
It's so weird to think of places that are, like, okay at the moment. I mean, and New York was doing fine, but it was not to the point where it was like, let's just go see a movie. Let's hang out at the bar.
Yeah.
Indoor restaurants, indoor dining definitely opened up again, probably a little prematurely. And we'll probably close that again pretty soon.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, I can justify it, not justify, I can agree with you that it's weird that other places aren't opening, because, granted, we're all fine here. That sounds horrible, but we are fine. We've opened up everything. Yeah. Every state is basically opened up. And then I'm, like, looking at other places, and their numbers are just going up and up and up. So Jersey Boys is what he's currently a swing for, Grace. But, Have you done a lot of other things on Broadway other than Jersey Boys, or is it just
Not in New York, no. So I did a show here. Well, there was one show before Jersey Boys. It was going to be a revival of a small show called When Pigs Fly.
Okay.
And which was sort of a cult classic gay off-Broadway show in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And we were going to do this campy big revival with, and now I'm going to blank on his name, Bob Mackie costumes. He was designing the whole show for us. And so like it was very over the top and beautiful and ridiculous. And the producer just didn't have the money he said he had and pulled the plug on the production right before we opened.
Oof.
So that was like one other thing I was doing here in New York City, but mainly I've traveled around to different theaters around the country. I've done like All Shook Up and Fiddler on the Roof and Wizard of Oz and How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, and just sort of like went to different theaters and performed around the country.
What's been your favorite to perform? Is it going to be Jersey Boys because you've done it so regularly, or what has been your favorite?
Jersey Boys is a lot of fun. I would definitely say Jersey Boys is a lot of fun, just because people know the songs, and they respond to the story and the time period so passionately, and
it's a true story, whereas some aren't a true story.
Yeah,
but
right. And so like they remember these people, they remember this time. It means something different to audiences. So that is a fun experience to do. It's a long show. It's like a little over 2.5 hours long. So like it's not. Some shows are just easier to do than Jersey Boys because they're shorter, they're more upbeat and silly. I think probably my favorite show to perform is All Shook Up. I think that's just like such a crowd pleaser. It's so silly and fun.
Yeah. Do you remember any songs from All Shook Up?
Yeah, of course.
Would you like to sing a little snippet? You can go back on stage for a minute. I'm just trying to get you to sing, basically. I love your voice. So you're going back on stage, boy. That didn't change. No, there we go.
There I am on stage. Yeah, I played a role called Dennis.
Okay.
In All Shook Up. And he sings, "It hurts me to see him treat you the way that he does. It hurts me to see you sit and cry. When I know I could be so true if I had someone like you. It hurts me to see those tears in your eyes. Darling, I know I could be so true if I had someone like you. It hurts me to see the way he makes you cry. You love him so much, you're too blind to see. He's only playing a game. But he never loved you, and he never will. And darling, don't you know he'll never change? Whoa, I know that he never will set you free. 'Cause darling, he's just that kind of guy. Oh, but if you ever tell him you're through, I'll be waiting for you. Yes, waiting to hold you so tight. Yes, waiting to kiss you goodnight. Waiting to find someone like you. That's that one.
Damn, I forgot about that song. And I was like jamming.
So
it's so good.
I love that.
It's a great song. And I did
fun.
tell you were going to sing once, but surprise, you sung twice.
I sang twice.
I mean, it was just a beautiful segue, and I was like, well, do you want to sing?
Do you know other songs? Here's a stage. Go to town.
And it's like, yeah, just stage. Stage is yours. You can sing through the whole stream, and I think people would love it.
Yeah, we can just start from the top of Jersey Boys. Let's just go. Let's just do the whole show.
La.
You can do Say Soiree La. Yeah, and I'll take the rest.
I might need the music behind me just for that one, because again, it's the French version, and I'm like, I need that just to kind of help me with the French. I speak English and Australian. Do the entire show. Go. Well, hang on. Let's bring our Spotify.
Get all the karaoke tracks ready. Here we go.
I mean, Sherry's on Twitch Sings. I don't think anything else is on there. But,
no. which is so weird because they're just Four Seasons songs. There should be more Four Seasons songs on there.
Draws the balls. No, no! I didn't mean to press play.
Was that the MIDI version of the show?
That was Big Man in Town, the start of that. Yeah. Good job. No, stop! Play. I don't mean to press play. I was like trying to go through and just be like...
Get flagged.
Yeah, well, I'm probably going to get flagged anyway, let's be real. All this beautiful singing and stuff.
Do they don't flag... So from what I read, they don't flag, like, cover versions of songs as long as you are playing your own instrument or singing.
Well,
that's what
I just get scared. And, like...
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that plenty of people have sort of been scared because people have been, like, their channels have been taken down.
Mm-hmm. And I think even, like, big people like Pokemon got taken down for nothing. Like, I was like, okay. Or, like, someone got taken down or something for, like, absolutely stupid, like, music that she owns the right to. But it still got cut down. I was like,
I think it was, what was making big news is that it was partners. It was Twitch partners who were getting affected by it.
Good night, Em.
Good night, Em.
Em is heading out. But yeah, I love Dawn Go Away. I cry every moment of that too. Oh. But like things like My Boyfriend's Back, something like that, where it just brings two groups of singers together, and I'm like, I didn't know that they sung backup on that. It's like, I'm literally going through here, I'm like, well, I could sing all of these, but I'm not going to.
Just start from the top.
Just
Open up your book. Top. Here we go. Oh, so good.
I mean, that is the Say Swirler. Let's just... But I'm not... that's so about 10 seconds. I shouldn't be cut down on that one.
Yeah, also it was like cutting in and out. I think you're fine.
Oh, what a shame. Oh, what a shame.
What a shame. Oh, what shucks.
You know, it's fine. But, I mean, you know, things like that brings people together. Like, musical theatre brings people together. Singing brings people together. What are you going to do when Twitch Sings dies? You're just going to have to sing the whole show.
They've got to come up with something. They've got to replace it with some interactive... Because music is such a big thing on Twitch. So many people sing, you know, their own stuff, cover songs of things. There needs to be a way, an accessible way for streamers to engage with their audience in a musical way.
Like, honestly, pay $4.95 a month, and that's a sub, you know, price. Pay that and leave Twitch Sings as it is, but that money can go to the artist if that's really the DCM CA thingamajiggy.
Yeah, exactly. What's happening there? And then also, like, Twitch immediately remove all Twitch Sings VODs. Like, just that would be your thing, is that, like, just so you know, your Twitch Sings VODs are taken down.
Yeah. Like,
so that things don't last in perpetuity.
Exactly. People do Just Dance streams. Understand. Take that off. Music. Yeah. People do their own things. Take them off straight away.
Just remove it. Yeah. But don't shut down Twitch Sings.
They were very nice to give us until the end of the year. But I think it's absolutely atrocious that they're taking it away. Because some people are on Twitch just doing Twitch Sings. They are known for Twitch Sings. Like, granted, it's not all you are. Because, yes, you have a great voice, but you're also very entertaining to watch the game. You know. And, like, you're not specifically in a Twitch Sings bubble. Whereas some people are. People come to those Twitch Sings streams of yours because it's amazing. But
it's fun, too.
It is fun. Especially when you can get other people in a party and then you're just singing together. And, yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Doing the duets thing. I had one guy pop into the stream last time and was like, do one of the duets I recorded. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And I did one of the duets while he was there in chat. And he's a total sweetheart, and he was great. And it was fun to do a duet with him while he was there.
Exactly. And those things bring communities even closer together, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know what I'm going to do without it, because, yes, I don't do it regularly. But there's a lot of people like Honey, I Took the Kids, who's a mod of mine. Great name. But he has a beautiful voice. Honey, I Took the Kids. And he's been called a female a lot because it kind of sounds like a female username. But, oh my god, he's got lungs. It's beautiful. And even Koi, my partner, he does Twitch Sings. He does a lot of games as well. Koi is a beautiful singer as well. That's my partner. Shout out to Coy. He's a beautiful man.
Go boy.
But, there's a lot of people that do that specifically, and that's all they do. And I like the community days that I can do it, and it's a little treat when people can come in and sing. And you could have been there for like a minute, and if you want to come into my chat and be like, can I join you? I was like, look, we've just be here for 10 minutes just to make sure you're all good, and then come in and join us. Because I think that's understandable, because there's a lot of people that could troll.
Yeah.
Come into voice chat and be like...
How do you have people on Discord, basically, to join you for...
No, so just with Twitch Sings, there's a party option. You just invite them. Yeah. Did you not know this? There is a party option. Like, you can have up to 6 people, including yourself, so 5 other people with you. And
they can't be on camera, though.
No. But they can have their cameras on if they want to when they're singing, but usually they don't. And I take my camera off when they're singing, so obviously.
If they had their camera on, it wouldn't show up on, like, mine.
It will when they're singing, if they choose to have it on. But you can do that, yeah. You can see people singing. Did you not know this?
No.
With a month to go, Paulie learned something.
I know, I've got it. Well, I've been telling chat I need to get some friends on there.
Yeah. Because you can have it, it's a private party, and all you have to do is just invite people to it. Or you can have it completely open if you're, like, really that ballsy. But I like it private where you can just invite people.
Oh, chat, we're definitely going to do that.
Yeah. And Becca V is yelling at you. I told you.
I know, but I continue to look up, like, how do you duet with somebody live on Twitch Sings? And it was basically, like, everything was saying you can't do a live duet. You can only, like, do recorded duets.
But if you're in a party... You can actually, so the people who are in your party, you can mute when someone else is singing, or you can basically mute everyone and just have that other person and sing part 1 and part 2.
Okay.
So technically it's a live duet. So.
Oh, I love it. I'm going to look into it.
Techie is also yelling at us. Get Drew and Low on there. Becca is all knowing.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to. I'm going to try to get Natalie in there. Maybe Diana. I'm going to get some Jersey Boys peeps.
If I'm around, I will come badly sing and show myself how horrible I am. I'm happy to do that.
I love it.
But yeah, get the Jersey people in there first. They're much better than I am. And if you guys can sing Sherry all together, hell, that would make my day. I would probably cry in, like, amazement.
Oh, can you imagine? It would be such a mess on those microphones, too. Nothing would come through. It would be like 9 voices singing on top of each other.
Well, max is 6, so, I mean...
9! 3 people per mic.
Oh, fair point. I'm sorry. That makes sense.
I don't know. That's not even good math.
I'd pay for Sherry. How much do you want, Paul? Oh, yes. I would pay for everyone.
Wait, I can charge ticket prices.
I mean, why not? I mean, you can do followers are like sub-only ones and charge for, like, people can sub to you.
For them to come on to do it, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a possibility. Be like, this is the special stream where it's sub-only for that reason. So, people would pay to join in. Again, not about money, but at the same time, it's a special event. So
yeah, if you do a special event, it can be about money.
Exactly, because not every day you're going to have all these Jersey Boy people in.
Exactly.
And all they need to do is download a free program called Twitch Sings, and they're all good.
I got to get on emailing the crowds.
Well, you've got 31 days on my fake watch.
All right, gonna do it. I love that. Where'd you get that? Looks
but
nice.
I have taken up enough of your time. It is an hour and a half, so I'm going to let you go because, I mean, it's 10 o'clock there now, question mark?
10:40.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You need to go get that beauty sleep. Oh, wait, no, you don't, because you're already beautiful.
Oh, cut it out. But it takes work, honey. It takes work. It takes creams.
But like I want to thank everyone for coming in and chatting with us. And most of all, Paul, thank you for taking some time out of your beautiful day to come in and see us.
Thank you, Cat Chats.
Do you have someone that you would like us to raid with, like from your beautiful community?
I don't know if I have anybody on right now.
Because I have a bunch, but I don't know, like, who I should go and annoy. Ooh, he's doing music. I mean, that's kind of fit. No, he's got music category, but he's playing Rocket League.
That is not it. That is not music.
It's not music.
Sir.
How dare he? But yeah, if you've got anyone on there, we can just raid a beautiful person that is on your lovely list.
Let's see. Cafe is on.
Okay, I don't know who that is, but sure. Who are we
She
rating?
is a wonderful supporter. It's CAFENBY. All one word.
And they're playing
Genshin Impact.
Smashing. We're going to go see them.
Love it.
I don't know why I said smashing like Nigel Thornberry, but apparently I'm Nigel Thornberry now. Cool.
I love it.
But yes,
well, thank you so much, Sarah.
Guys, if you haven't already, yes, follow Paulie. That was beautifully timed. My bot just gave your link out, which I was about to type, so it was perfectly timed. But yes, if you guys want to, we have raid commands here. I think they're still out. Yeah, we're gonna raid from the land down under because that's how we raid.
Yes.
So the first one is if you're a sub, if you're not a sub, or if you are a sub, you have my beautiful emotes with me doing this and our little koala. So if you want to copy and paste that, it's up to you. I know some of you guys are Paulie's peeps. You don't have to sub to me. I'm okay with that. But we're going to go raid this beautiful person. I'm going to... Ooh, that's the wrong thing. I just almost raided with my raid message because that's fantastic. Cafe and B. There we go. I think that's going to work. I hope it's going to work. I don't know anymore. There we go. All right, we are going to raid. Paulie, love your work. But yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in with this beautiful community of yours. And yeah, that's it. That's not my whole conversation. I'm gonna go raid.
Thank you, everyone.
Cafe and B. Bye, guys.